welcome. So I feel a little bit silly today, but what I'm actually doing for a guy named Blaze. Blaze has been watching the channel, he's been commenting, he has a wonderful channel of his own. I'm going to put a link down below so you can go check that out. He does some great videos, he does terrific commentary, does some performance pieces too. So we've been interacting, and he's asked me a few things, and one of the things he asked me to do was a performance piece or two. Now, as you probably have noticed, this channel, this vlog is not devoted to performance pieces. I do magic commentary, I do magic history, I talk about things pertaining to the performing arts. I do very few performance pieces on this channel because I prefer to comment about magic, to talk about it. Even in my performances these days, I do a lot of talking. You know, I spent 20 some odd years doing corporate training, so I'm used to talking to people. I like talking to people, and I like putting magic in a context. And so that's when I do a show these days, I do a lot of presenting that way. So what you're seeing on this vlog is not dramatically different than what you'd see if you brought me in to do a show. I will give sometimes the lineage of an effect before I do it. I'll talk about it. And I know that most magicians don't do that. And I wonder why. Because audiences like it. I'm telling you, they do. But today, I'm going to do something that most magicians will find a bit hokey and corny. I have a sort of a history with this effect. I'm talking about the finger chopper. And by the way, if you think that great magicians don't do this, I'm going to put a link to a David Parr video down below. I saw him do it, and he did a wonderful job, and the spectator he was doing it with absolutely loved it. So again, it's the old adage is true. It's not the trick, it's the presentation. And you can get a lot out of this effect if you really want to, but it's got to mean something to you. And this effect does mean something to me. Now, I'll tell you when I used to do it. I was doing birthday parties for a long period of time, and you know what? I still like to do them. So, but the average age range was maybe 6 up to 12, something like that. And I did this, and I'm going to demonstrate this. This is, I think this is a masterpiece. I didn't do something like this. I love this, but I didn't do it. One of the things I don't want to do is terrify a child. That's just not a good idea. So I did this, and I did it to myself. And I'll do the presentation that I did for the kids, and they loved it. It's small, you know, so you're not doing this for a platform. If you're up on a platform and you got 200 people in the audience, not a good idea. But if you're in a living room and you've got 20, maybe 15, pretty good idea. It actually does work. So let me give you a little bit of background now. Reginald Scott, in his book, The Discovery of Witchcraft, and I do have a reprinting of the book. I just couldn't find it for this presentation. It's probably in a box somewhere downstairs. You can pick up these things. You can pick up reprints. You can even pick up originals if you want to spend the money to do that. It's a very famous book written by Reginald Scott. His intention in writing the book was to try to portray witchcraft as magic. I'm not sure that was a good idea, but he had a noble cause. I mean, he wanted to cut down on the amount of persecution that was going on, and sort of the hysteria that surrounded witchcraft in the period. It was written in 1584, but he described a decapitation effect in the book. So, and I share that with you to suggest that guillotine routines, decapitation routines, amputation routines have been popular as far back as 1884 among magicians. There's a gentleman by the name of Rhett Bryson. I'm going to try to put his link below as well. Rhett Bryson has done some history on the finger chopper itself. He said that a gentleman by the name of Edward Massey was the inventor of the finger chopper. He sold the rights to Max Holden. Max Holden had his own shop for a period of time. Max Holden's magic shop, Max Holden held the copyright in 1941. So the effect's been around a while. By the way, I don't have a version of the finger chopper that was the original Ed Massey. I'm not sure that David Parr does it, but if you look at the Ed Massey version and then you look at the David Parr effect, which I'll put a link below, I think you'll see that it looks the same. It could be a different version, it could be different, but it looks like the Ed Massey version, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you're going to do it and you can do the original version, I think that's really cool. My fascination personally with the effect started when I was a child. I've done a presentation on this before. You can look down below and take a look. 2 on a Guillotine. 1965, starring Connie Stevens, Dean Jones, and Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero played a magician who allegedly passed away. In his will, he required that his daughter spend a week in his house, which was a Gothic mansion. And it was a great thriller. But the magic in the film centered around this huge guillotine. And so here I am, a child, and I'm fascinated with magic and magicians. I'm probably 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7. I'm watching this movie, and this association of magic with guillotines just kind of crept into me, and it's been with me ever since. Now, I love full-size guillotine routines. I just adore them. I don't do them. I never have done them. I've done a few finger choppers, but never done a full guillotine routine. I do like them, though. So, let's talk a little bit about what you have over here. This one, I'm going to start with this one. It's a cheap plastic thing. It was manufactured by Tenyo. It's called the Smart Guillotine by Tenyo. I like the method. And, there are much larger, much more expensive effects that work on similar methods. I like that, but you know what? If I was ever going to do this, now the fact that this is clear plastic is extremely important. I mean, it's germane to the impact of the effect because you can see through the thing the entire time. But this base, this white plastic base just doesn't work for me. I think what I would do if I was going to perform this, and I'm not, but if I was going to, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is because you might be inclined. Again, this is called the Smart Guillotine by Tenyo Magic. So if you decide to go out and get one of these, here's what I recommend. Spray paint this the white plastic, any color you want, but make it look more substantial. Maybe rust. I'm thinking maybe rust, and then take this base and embed it in a larger wooden base. For one thing, this is a little bit unstable in a real performance situation. You're going to find this difficult to manage. So that's what I would recommend if you decide you want to do this thing. Now let me show you the demonstration of it. I just get a kick out of this thing, I really do. So your finger goes through the hole here like this. And you remove the clip up here, and the blade drops. Now the clip holds the blade in place. So let me show you how this works. And if you just push, you see, I just think that is pretty cool, don't you? I mean, the thing goes right through my finger. It's just awesome, I think. So anyway, get my finger out of the thing and put it back into place up here like this. And that's it. That's the Tenyo version. I like it because it's totally see-through. You actually see the penetration happening. I think that's brilliant. But again, it's not a very good construction. And Tenyo is like that. Tenyo puts out some great magic, but they don't put a lot of money in their production costs. So if you get a Tenyo piece, you might want to remake it in a larger version, a stronger version if you're going to do it. Now, this piece, let me tell you a little bit about this. This one it's engraved on the bottom, and it says C. Miller, copyright 1995, and then there's a model number over here, W-599. I got this thing in 1985, and I performed it in 1985, and I've loved it ever since. Now, you can find versions of this on the market. I think T. Robbins, Easy Magic puts one out. The problem with some of the other versions is that they're very, very cheaply made, and you cannot make this cheaply. I mean, if you do, it just doesn't, the mechanism, it just doesn't work properly. and you end up embarrassing yourself. So it's a good point about magic in general. If you're going to invest in a prop and you want to perform something, I would suggest that you get the very best. Don't scrimp. Don't try to get the cheap version. Get the very best and make sure you're doing a good job, because if you get a cheaper version and it doesn't function properly, again, you can end up embarrassing yourself pretty bad. So anyway, here's the thing. I love this. I love this. So the frame splits and this solid piece of wood comes out. You can see that my finger fits in here like this, and the wood fits in place here. You can see that passing down. You can see it passing through the hole there. Now the way I do this is I pull it out so that the blade is just above my finger like this. Now, when I'm doing it for kids, I ask a kid to hold his hand underneath my finger just in case, and then I very slowly push that blade down until I can lift my finger out like that, and you can see the penetration has occurred. I think that is brilliant, and I've done this many times. This will fit in your coat pocket, inside coat pocket, so you can literally take this with you if you're doing table hopping, and it gets a good reaction. But once again, I would suggest that you get a fairly decent one if you're going to do it. Now this one, you're probably looking at this thinking, whoa, that is a finger chopper, right? This was made by Garrett's Custom Magic Props. You can find Garrett's Custom Magic Props on Facebook. That's where I found him. I'm a member of a lot of magic groups on Facebook, and this gentleman was advertising some of his effects on Facebook. And so I saw this, and being a fan of guillotines as I am, I thought, whoo-wee, I need to have that. So I've never performed. It's brand new. I just got it a few months ago, actually. So I have not had the chance to perform this in public. I don't know what the audience reaction might be. And again, I'm a mentalist primarily these days. So what would a mentalist be doing this for anyway? I might do it at some point if I have an occasion to. If the audience is right and so on and so forth, I might end up doing it and get a bang out of it. But let me show you how it works. So the blade is held in place up here. If I just pull the pin out from the back, you see that just, oh, ouch. That is a nasty fall, right? And the blade is a little bit sharp too, so I don't want to necessarily touch it with my hand. Take the blade and toss it back up to the pin. Lock that bad boy in place, and then, Blaze, I hope you enjoy this because it makes me nervous. So, put your finger in here like this. And down through the finger it goes. Is that nasty or what? Now, you might be wondering how you do these things. Let me show you. It requires a very special finger. All you do is twist. The finger pops off like that. You twist it back on. The blade passes through. And there you have it. That's my method. And I'm sticking to it. Hey folks, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that you do. I appreciate your comments. Please feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Let's talk about these things. Talk about the things that you might be doing. I'd love to interact with you about that. Please subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time. And thanks, Blaze, for making the recommendation. I'll see you next time, folks. Bye-bye.